Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for attending our proposal workshop here today, our Lunch and Learn. My name is Dr. Carmen Reese Foster, and I am the founder and executive director of the Coalition of Black Social Workers. So we are super excited to have you here for this lunch and learn. This is informal, so please feel free if you are eating, if it is your lunch, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to give the lay of the land. And give you all some information about who the CBSW is and what we're looking for in our conference proposals. And so we will have a Q&A at the end of our time together. But if at any point you have questions, please feel free to drop those in the chat, and I will make sure to address each and every one of those. If we have questions that are missed, our CBSW intern, Destiny Hearn, is also on the call. And so she can help guide me with those questions. So excited that you're here. If you are at work, if you could please make sure to mute your mic, that would be really helpful so that we don't receive that interference. This is also being recorded just in case you would like access to it to go back and look through. So here are photos of myself, the founder and executive director. I'm also one of the co-chairs of the conference, and Brielle Thompson, who is my right hand co-chair for the conference. And so I just wanted to let you know who the players are that are involved in this. We have a whole conference committee for the CBSW, and so I'll talk about them a little bit later and their role. So here is our agenda for the Lunch and Learn. I'm going to introduce a little bit about the CBSW, discuss why our conference is different, give you an overview of exemplar proposals so that you can kind of see what we are looking for as a committee that reviews this, and how to make your proposal strong. This is a picture of our collective CBSW board. They are from all over in all different types of social work industries. You may recognize some of them, but wanted you to see who the brains were behind this awesome operation. So, who is the CBSW? The Coalition of Black Social Workers is a nonprofit organization. We have members from all across the nation, but we are headquartered in Nashville. That is where I am located. We were founded in 2018. So, this idea of the CBSW came to be in 2018. We were incorporated as a nonprofit organization in 2020. Our mission is we exist to engage, connect, and empower Black social work students and professionals. So we want student involvement. We feel very strongly as one of our core values of mentoring is that we should always be lifting as we climb. So whether that is a student, a young professional, a mid-career person, we feel like having support and connection at every stage of your social work journey is really important. We have 5 values that we have that should be showing up on this slide, but they are not. So I will just tell you what they are. Our 5 values are Black excellence in everything that we do. We want to promote the Black excellence, mentoring. Again, that idea of making sure that we are always thinking about the next generation and how we are sustaining and promoting ourselves. Networking, so you all can connect and collaborate with one another. Professional development, which our conference is the biggest example of that, but we do provide workshops throughout the year where social workers can receive CEUs and contact hours. And then also community. It is so important that we realize that we are not doing this by ourselves. So those are our 5 values. And what is the purpose of our conference, right? So we know that there are lots of conferences that you can choose to share your expertise with, right? As somebody who is also a professor, I'm at conferences all of the time. And I know that you can pick and choose where you want to invest your time, your energy, your wisdom, your resources. And so the purpose of the CBSW conference, was created, it was a space for Black social work knowledge, research, and expertise to be on full display. We want to give Black people a platform to exercise their leadership skills and to have the opportunity for all who attend to sit under the influence and wisdom of Black leadership. Years ago, when we had this vision for the conference, when I had the vision for the conference, I kept hearing from social workers, hey, when we're going to get our CEUs, at these conferences, there's really not a lot of presenters that look like us and that also have our expertise and our background. And so it really was created as a space for all who attend to come and sit under the influence of Black leadership and wisdom. And we wanted to create a professional conference space where Black culture, Black energy, and Blackness would be unapologetically celebrated. So people come as their full, authentic selves to provide opportunities to create connections, be inspired, and to empower others. And if you are on this call and you've never been to one of our conferences, when you experience it, it will all make sense. Here is just a picture of the growth. Oftentimes, when people want to present at conferences, they want to know like what's in it for me and what am I getting myself into? How many people potentially are going to be at this conference? We started in 2020, right before the world shut down. Our very first conference was in February, which was amazing. We had 90 people. We had a few book vendors that were local, and it was mostly local Nashville people at that first conference. In 2021, when the world was still shut down, we had a virtual conference. It was virtual only. We had about 60 attendees. We took a break in 2022 because we still weren't sure about money and financing and travel because of COVID. And then we came back in 2023 with our biggest conference at that time. We had 120 people, we had 15 sponsors. So we started to create these opportunities with businesses and universities who wanted to sponsor it. That year, it was hybrid, which was interesting. And there was also a snowstorm. So it was an interesting year in 2023. In 2024, we had 200 attendees, we had 21 sponsors. That's when we started utilizing volunteers for the conference. In 2025, we had 300 attendees and 22 sponsors. And we grew, we keep outgrowing these spaces every year. Last year, we had 317 attendees, we had 11 sponsors. Also was at the same place. And so this year we are planning for around 350 attendees. Our sponsors, if you're looking at the numbers and you're like, oh my gosh, what happened? Why did you go from 22 sponsors to 11 sponsors? Lots of reasons for that, but the main reason was the federal policies that were dismantling DEI. And so it's particularly universities who had sponsored us through their public state funding could no longer do that. So I say that because I do want you to know that even in the midst of system shifts and policy changes, we are still committed to promoting our Blackness, right? And so if that means that we lose sponsorships, or that people have to find a different way to attend because maybe their job won't reimburse them for coming to the conference. We are still unapologetically committed to our mission to promote Black social work students and professionals. Sure, we have these great ideas and great commitments to permission. Can you all hear that? Could you all hear that? Okay, I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. This is just a little 2-minute video to show you about our conference, and then we'll jump into the proposal.
How do we have these great ideas and we bring them into fruition? How do we work something special? That's what this day is about. So it's a very important position for here as well. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this afternoon. Wait, like you walk into the room and you are the gift. Of having people that look like the folks we're representing in this role is something that I hope I leave the legislation doing, that I showed up to do this representation, right? An organization where you can come be safe, where you can come be you, and where you can have somebody you can see what you want to be.
All right. I heard from my intern that the sound went off, so I apologize for that. It's a great video. You can find it on YouTube. But that essentially encapsulates really the essence of what our conference is, right? It's almost like a big family reunion. So our 2027 theme. This year, last year, our theme was I almost wore that shirt, but I wore my CBSW branded shirt, was Uprise, right? The year before that, it was Rooted. We have had some amazing themes that our conference committee puts a lot of energy and effort and debate around. Um, so this year, our theme is Reclaiming Black Joy. So we are entering into a space where, despite everything that has been thrown against us, whether it's policies, whether it's something that's systemic, whether it's individual obstacles, racism, trauma, Lord, that we are standing strong in our joy. That is what sustains us. That is what propels us. That is what brings us together as a community. So, we are super excited about this topic, this theme. This is what the conference T-shirt will look like. So our theme is always what our conference T-shirt giveaway is, and the date that you are tracking is March the 5th. If you are on this call and we'll talk about this in FAQs, but if you're interested in presenting, I want to make it very clear this is an in-person conference in Nashville, Tennessee. Friday, March the 5th. We always, always, always have our conference at the first Friday in March, Thursday and Friday, because we are capturing the end of Black History Month and propelling us into Social Work Month, right? So for us, that is the best of both worlds. The presenters, the workshops that you all are interested in will take place on that Friday, March the 5th, but we do have a day of pre-conference workshops that take place on March the 4th. Okay, so why should you present at our conference? You will get exposure to a large audience of Black social workers. So like I said, we are projecting 350 social work students and professionals from all over the country. So you will get an opportunity to inspire and empower students and professionals in the field of social work. Networking and building opportunities happens for us in this authentic space. We had a speaker last year come, and she did an incredible workshop. And on the spot that day, one of the directors reached out to me and said, "Hey, can I have her contact information? I forgot to get it, but we would like for her to come and present to our social workers, our school social workers, our whole district conference that we have in August later this year." And the speaker, let me know that they had approached her about that. And she said, she's in academia, she's a professor, but she said, "I never would have gotten that opportunity had I not been at this conference," right? And so because we span medical social work and school social work and community mental health social workers and academic professionals, there's so much opportunity. Sports social work, there's so much opportunity for you to really take your brand and your information, empower people, and then potentially to get asked to do something wherever they are in their part of the country. So that makes me super happy that that happens at this conference. Nashville is a fun conference city, right? You come for Friday, but stay the whole weekend. There's lots to do in Nashville. And our conference is a vibe. Our food is a vibe. People come just for the food. So we do it right, we do it well, and we do it in a way that honors who we are as a people. Now, what are we looking for in a proposal? We are looking for creative proposals. I get DMs all the time like, "Oh, what topics are you missing? What are you looking for?" And my answer always is we are looking for something that's creative. We are looking for something that is outside of the box. This is not your typical, like, "Oh, I did this workshop 5 years ago on self-care and I'm going to repurpose it for that conference." That's not going to work for us, right? Like, we want you to think outside of the box. We want you to think specific to issues that really impact the Black community. We want your proposals to be research based. We want them to be inspirational. We want you to use practical wisdom because you've been working as a medical social worker for 10 years and these are the things that you see, right? We also want you to connect it to the theme. We will have a rubric that will have these different categories on it, and that is how we are scoring proposals when we read them. I do want to point out that this one picture up top is actually yoga, right? We had for several years in a row proposals around movement, and so people offered yoga workshops. We had a workshop on boxing one year. So just FYI, right? When I say outside of the box, I really truly mean that. How is your proposal rated? We do a blind peer review process. So no identifying information is shared with the committee. Each proposal is assigned a unique number. Committee members rank the proposals based upon the rubric that we use. So we try to be incredibly objective as possible. And I'm the one who's doing all of that. So the proposals come to me. I will redact information that is identifying. That is the book and the binder of proposals that I will pass along to the committee. They read them blindly. So we don't know if it's a board member presenting, promoting a proposal. We don't know if it's somebody in Seattle who is presenting a proposal. We don't know if it's the NASW director of the state of Kentucky who is proposing, right? It is completely blind. I do not get a vote, right? You're probably like, "Well, she knows all the people." I do not vote purposely on the proposals. So I take all the information in, redact everything, share it with the committee, and then as a group, we total, we look, we see what matches what vibe we're going for that year. It is a competitive process, so not everyone will get chosen. And I don't want anybody to think that just because your proposal didn't get chosen in year one that you submit doesn't mean it's not personal. Please know that because everything's redacted. I don't vote, so even though I know who's submitting, I don't have a say so. We have tried to be as objective as possible. So if your proposal or your poster proposal does not get submitted, does not get accepted, please do not think that that means that it will never get accepted. We had someone and I know this because I know the people who submit. She submitted 3 years in a row, and every year did not get accepted, and it was the fourth year that she got accepted. And it just so happened that her particular area of expertise and her topic fit better that year with the other proposals that we were looking at and considering. So if it doesn't work out this year, that does not mean that in the future it will not work out. We also have the option of submitting your proposal. Not like handwritten. You can do an audio submission. And so if you do an audio submission, please note that even if you like record it on Zoom, we don't need your face on the Zoom. I can go and edit the video to take your name out, but we don't need your face on the Zoom. We really are trying to do this as subjective as possible. So okay, I'll go on to the next. The categories that we look for, the rubrics, we talked about a little bit, but creativity, connection to the conference theme, interest for Black social workers, and marketability, right? We want to, and we will, which is one thing that's super unique about our conference than other conferences. Other conferences may give you like a template to market your workshop on with your own network. We market every single proposal, right? So for example, I'm going to use my intern Destiny because I see her beautiful face. If Destiny has written a proposal and she is going to be one of our speakers, we don't just put her name and her workshop title on our website for people to see and to promote. We make an individual post about her and we promote that on all of our platforms, right? So we do that. And then if the person wants to then like share that to their network, cool. But we take the responsibility of also promoting your workshop. Because again, it's about getting you exposure as much as it is about, us putting together an amazing conference. So, what does the proposal look like? The call for proposals will drop on Friday at the latest. We'll probably open a little bit earlier, like tomorrow morning. But Friday for the world is our drop date for the proposal. Proposals will be due on August the 31st, and there will be a format listed of the things that we need on the proposal. So you're going to choose your presentation format. We're going to talk about all of this, the theme and track, title, abstract, objectives, and then your actual body of the proposal. So what that looks like is your presentation format. You are going to tell us, are you doing an interactive workshop or just by yourself? Are you doing a panel presentation, which that's 2 to 4 people? 4 is the max for panels. Or are you doing a poster presentation? We added poster presentations last year for the first year, and that went over really, really well. So we are bringing that back as a part of the presentation format. So that is what you are going to that is what you're going to choose. We encourage team presentations just because it is a very competitive process, but there are several people that come and present solo. So if you want to do it solo, that's fine too. But we do encourage team presentations. Our presentation theme or track, you are going to choose from these 5 areas just so that we're able to let people know, like if you go to this proposal, this is kind of the theme around it, right? So there's a clinical theme with some examples there. There's a leadership theme, there's a macro theme, there's an ethics theme, and then there's a well-being theme. So as you're thinking about what is your area of expertise, what is your experience, can it fit into one of these particular tracks for the conference? So title, your title will be 15 words or less, and it needs to be catchy. I know, especially if those of you are academics, you have probably been to conferences and the titles are pretty dry. That's not how we do it here. We want your title to be catchy. People will choose to come to your session because of your title. That's what draws them in. So you want to make it fun. You want to make it interesting. We've had people in the past use song titles and they've done a play on words. You also want it to be direct and concise. So think about as you are crafting your title, does it create an image in people's minds when they read your title? And here are some examples. Some strong title examples we've had in the past are Black Men's Mental Health. We don't need a white savior. I'm dying. So now what? A look at my BAD, Black Advanced Directive. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. The song title, play on the song. This really old song. I guess I'm showing my age, but yes, that's a song. I'm Not Your Superwoman, examining societal stereotypes and their effects on Black women's health. The Real Black Girl Magic, using mindfulness and yoga to promote strength and resilience. Modern Day Slavery 2023, we want criminal justice reform. So, those are examples of some strong titles that we've had in the past. For your abstract is probably the most important piece of your proposal because this is what will be printed in our marketing materials. This will be in the program, this will be, on our social media posts about what you're doing. This is really an important thing, and it needs to be 100 words or less. So it needs to be tight and right. This, other than the title, is the only thing that attendees will get, right? So your proposal, your objectives, even that is for the committee. That's also for our CEUs, the objectives, but your title and your abstract is what is shared with the attendees. Your abstract should be a summary of your presentation. You want to put information in there about the presenting problem, what population is impacted, what are the solutions, and any other additional information that is relevant to your overall theme or thesis. Okay. And so here's an example. From the Black Men's Mental Health, We Don't Need a White Savior. I'm going to use that title and abstract moving forward along with another one just as examples. These are exemplars. Here was the abstract for that one. Participants will learn about the challenges and disparities that Black men face in mental health, along with tips on how to address these issues. This will be a safe place to discuss some of the most critical intervention points through the examination of myriad treatment types for Black men. Additionally, we will look at how American values, ideology, stigma, and systemic oppression have created barriers for this demographic of people, right? So straight to the point, less than 100 words, okay? For that particular Black men's mental health. This one about I'm Not Your Superwoman, examining societal stereotypes and their effects on Black women's health. Societal stereotypes have had a negative impact on Black women's health. Black women are dying from several chronic illnesses that, when properly managed, are not fatal. We must explore the journey from mammy, welfare queen, to superwoman to better understand the medical community's response or lack thereof to these common healthcare disparities. We will take back our power through fully understanding the stigma associated with these stereotypes, as well as ways to reestablish appropriate concern from relevant stakeholders, right? So there's some buzzwords in there that really stand out for people: mammy, welfare queen, superwoman. There's information about death and illness and how that works together. And so that one also was just a page jumper. It jumped off the page. You will also need 3 objectives. What are three main points that you want your attendees to learn? With your objectives, you want to be clear, you want to be concise, and you want to use action verbs. Okay, so again, here are some examples for Black men's mental health. The verbs were learn, identify, examine, right? Boom, boom, boom. This is what we're going to do. These workshop presentations are short, guys. They're like 50 minutes. And so you know, you want to have enough information to fill the space. You want to make sure that you're leaving time for Q&A, but you probably don't want more than three objectives. If you have four or five, cool, but 10 objectives is going to be too many, right? To really get through the information in a way where you're giving people depth and not just surface area information. For the superwoman, it was define, receive, explore, right? Bloom's taxonomy is a great just Google for verbs, for action verbs that you can use to say things like, I want people to apply. What's a different verb that's catchy that I can use for that? I want to use create. What's a different verb that's catchy that I can use for that, right? So that's a quick Google for some different types of verbs. The ethical use of AI. Before we jump into looking at some of these proposals, the body of the proposal, I just want to say it is totally appropriate to use AI platforms, Claude, ChatGPT, Copilot, whatever it is that you use, Gemini, to help generate or ideate, right? But we do not want AI to write your proposal. We have had in the past year, for call for proposals for our conference where people have just copied and pasted straight from chat into our platform. And we can tell like they've left lines. Some people have left the prompt. We don't want to hear AI. We want to hear you, right? We want to hear why this is passionate for you. So, sure, use it to help generate ideas, use it to refine your title, right? Because you want your title to be catchy, but we want to hear why you are passionate about this. Not only do we have incredible proposal ideas, the way that they are presented at our conference are phenomenal because this is stuff that people are passionate about, right? If this is if you've only ever attended academic conferences, don't think of it in that way, right? Like we want you to really share what you're passionate about. We want you to be reflexive, throw your identity into this because that is going to resonate with the people who attend our conference. There will be a place, this is new this year in response to all of the AI, for you to share what professional or personal experience that you have with this issue that you are promoting, right? So this is not like, we don't ever want people to present at our conference just because they're a serial conference presenter and they're just checking boxes. Like, oh, I'm just going to present at this conference and present at this conference, and I'm going to take what I did for this conference and just repurpose it for this one, copy and paste it for this one. You can repurpose, you can edit, but this needs to be specific to our community, right? This needs to be that you have done some work to really think about how is this going to impact the Black community. So with your workshop or panel proposal, we ask for a submission. If this is for a solo interactive workshop, if this is for a panel, right, 2 to 4 people, we are asking for you to create a proposal that is 1,000 words or less. 1,000 words is a lot, friends, right? And to be honest, oftentimes less is more. Okay. More words does not make it a stronger proposal. We are looking for richness. We are looking for clarity. We are looking for depth. And this should really be an expansion of your abstract. We do want you to cite your evidence. So that's important if you're using statistics. It's important if you're using these very strong claims, like where are you getting that from? We want to know how you're going to engage attendees, right? Are you going to use handouts? Are you going to use discussions? Like I'm going to have people do a Menti poll. I'm going to take a show of hands. I'm going to have time for open discussion. Are you using PowerPoint? Are you using any sort of visual aids? We want to know how you are engaging proposals, how you're engaging attendees. Be specific, be clear, and use evidence. Now, while I say this, this is not a research paper. It is not a journal article, okay? This is a proposal with a great idea that is research based, that is evidence based, and that also has some connection to you, either personally or professionally. Okay, so just want to make sure that we are on the same page about that. Okay, here's an example. I'm not going to read this to you, but I do want you to see this was the Superwoman's proposal, and I actually talked to her this morning about this. Y'all, this was less than 300 words. And this was a fantastic proposal. It was a fantastic presentation, but she was very clear about making sure that she provided evidence. You can see here, Kalinaki, right? She was clear on how she was going to engage people. A QR code will be utilized to give attendees an opportunity to guess a statement as either true or false. So she did a little quiz. She also said that she was going to engage in open discussion of current issues. So this was exceptional. And it was less than 300 words, right? So I don't want you to think that, like, oh, 1,000 words is the limit. So, I mean, we've had people write 6 pages and not get accepted, right, for a proposal. So please do not think that more is more. Just as long as your proposal hits all of the points that we've asked for, you should be good to go. If you are doing a poster proposal, if you're saying, "Hey, I want to come and I want to do a poster," your poster will be up all day, but there will be a designated time for those poster presentations to take place and for people to come up and look at your proposal, ask questions about your poster. This needs to be 500 words or less, and or a 2 minute video. I forgot to say that the 1,000 words or less, or a 3 minute video if you're doing a video submission, audio submission. And again, same thing, expansion of your abstract. You obviously don't need to write here, and it's clear on the call for proposals like how you are engaging people because you'll be there sharing the information from the proposal. Here's an example of one of the posters from last year. This was designed by Ricky Martin out of Memphis, Tennessee, who's an LMSW. She's a CBSW mentor and member, and she has multiple different roles, but one of them is working at Babe Family Wellness. And this was exceptional. She did an incredible job kind of laying out in her different categories, like what the issue is, what types of things that she does in her daily work, and then what are the practice implications, both for like how she moves in this space, particularly as it relates to pregnant Black mothers, and what those implications are for social work practice. Ricky is not, sometimes people hear poster presentations and they think, oh my gosh, I have to have my PhD to do that. Or, oh my gosh, this is only research based. This is both and, right? This is her professional experience. This is her practice experience. And it was awesome. So please be encouraged. You don't need to necessarily be in a doctoral program to create a poster, that you can be doing the work every single day, and that matters probably more than, right? Because you've got on the ground experience. So would love to see people share their experience through posters. This would be the method for somebody who doesn't necessarily want to talk to a room of 50 people, and then try to engage in 50 people, but would love to have conversations with people in groups of twos or one-on-one. Okay, so that is the addition of the poster presentation. For the proposal submission, we use Google Docs as our portal. And so you're going to upload a Word document or audio only for your video submission into that portal. So that is the portal that we use. And here are the expectations. If you are accepted, you will hear back from us. The call for proposals ends on August the 31st. You will hear back from us. We work really, really hard to get responses back within 2.5 weeks. Because as we roll things out, we start promoting our conference. Our early bird registration opens October 15th, and we want people to know who's coming to present by then, right? So it moves very quickly for both you and for us. You will complete a letter of intent and provide necessary materials. So if you are get green lighted to present, we will need your bio. We will need your headshot. We do not use those things again in the proposal decision process because I don't want to bias people. So we ask for that pretty quickly afterwards from you. You need to be prepared to come in person. If you already know there's no way you can make it to Nashville by March the 5th, then please don't submit a proposal, right? Because that's taking a space from someone else who is committed to come. You will be responsible for your travel arrangements, but you will pay a reduced conference fee. You will not pay the full conference fee. Um, at our location, if you have a slide deck that you'll be using to run your workshop, you will be responsible for providing your own laptop. We do have some HDMI adapters if you do not have one, but particularly if you're using a Mac, like I use a Mac, you'll need an adapter to connect for to the screen, the TV. For poster presenters, you will provide your own poster. We will provide like where to set up, but you will provide your own poster. We have printed posters in the past for people. But that became too arduous just because people weren't meeting the deadline to get it to us, and then it was late to the printer. So we're just asking people to bring their own posters with them. What are the benefits? We've talked about this already a little bit, but just to reiterate, you're going to expand your platform and receive promotion from a national nonprofit. You will have focused and engaged audience to share your ideas. The beautiful thing about this conference is the majority of us are social workers. We do have other disciplines come and attend the conference, but for the most part, the majority of the individuals are social workers. So it really is a community that has all been trained in the same code of ethics and the same values, and that helps with the conversation. Community and network building with social work professionals and organizations from across the country. And it's also an opportunity for you to be poured into and to be restored and rejuvenated because our conference is a whole vibe and people love on each other and people are excited to be in the same space with one another. And you'll also receive CEUs. Here's the timeline. The call for proposals will open on Friday. Like I said, we will do a hard launch on Friday, but if you go to the proposal website tomorrow, it will probably be open. Most likely, yes. The deadline for proposals is August the 31st. I said 2.5 weeks. It says here presenters will be notified September 30th, and then you will have 2 weeks to respond to us. That's where that 2 weeks goes. So we have a month to pour over these proposals. And then once we give you the green light or notification, you have 2 weeks to get back in touch with us. Last year, we did have a waiting list. People ask that sometimes, like if I don't get accepted, is there a waiting list? Or if I am I just out? We did have a waiting list last year. I do not know if we'll do that again. That all depends on the number of proposals that we receive. The website that you can find the call for proposals is just the thecbsw.org/proposals. But that will be all over social media on Friday when the call actually drops. Okay. So please follow us on social media if you don't already to get the most updated information. And then just a few questions that come up from us, and then I'm happy to answer any questions that you all may have. People ask, do you have to be a CBSW member to present at the conference? The answer to that is no. You don't have to be a member to present at the conference. On our rubric, if you are a member, you do get points for that, right? So you don't have to be a member, but we do encourage our members. We give our members priority to present at the conference. Do you have to be a social worker to present at the conference? Same thing. You don't have to be a social worker to present at the conference. Last year, we had a social worker and an MBA do a proposal around like the business side of social work, like starting a clinical private practice, and they did it together, right? So if you are not a social work background, you're going to have more success in the judging if you have a social worker with you as a team sort of presentation. But we have had non-social workers present at our conference before. Do you have to be Black to present at the conference? We actually get this question a lot. No, you don't have to be Black to present at the conference. But again, we need topics and ideas that are focused on issues that are relevant to the Black community. And so that is what we're keeping at the forefront. So yeah, those are my FAQs. What questions? I'll stop sharing so I can have a better screen to see you all. But what questions do you all have? And you can feel free. We're a small enough group that you can come off mute to ask your question, or if you want to drop it in the chat, we can see. There's a question in the chat, and maybe Sarita already left. Oh no, she's still here. How many proposals can you submit? That's a great question, Sarita. We have had people. So I've had one person submit up to three proposals for the same conference, but they were all kind of different. And so one was with her solo, one was with someone else, and then another individual, another proposal she had was with like a whole panel. And so you can present more than one. Again, the committee doesn't know who is presenting what, so it's all blind peer review. Any other questions? You're welcome, Sarita. Dr. Colvin, is submission only Google Docs? Dana, great question. Right now, that's the platform that we use. Sorry, Google Forms is what it is. And so if you have difficulty accessing that platform, just shoot me an email. I put my email there in the chat. Just shoot me an email and you will be able to see what is required on that call for proposals. Each of the questions will be laid out. And if you wanted to type that up somehow and submit it to me before the deadline, then that would be fine. But yes, we use Google because it just dumps it into an Excel sheet and it's easier to kind of organize and then pull out for the committee. Great. Anybody else? Any other questions? No, I can't believe it. Well, as things come up, as you come off of this Zoom and you go throughout your day, if any questions come up, please feel free to ask. We take a lot of pride in our conference, and we love it, and so we take this very, very seriously. And so please don't let your questions go. Don't assume. Please feel free to ask whatever it is. No question is too small. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for coming. Remember, Friday is our hard launch for this, but we will make sure to drop it on Thursday. That's kind of a benefit for people who come to this. They get to know when it officially opens. And we would just, love to hear from you and love to see you at the conference. Even if you don't present, we would love to see you there March 4th and 5th. Okay, take it easy. Bye.